must have been my birthday. And aren't they lovely? They're perfect. You know, the big black ones you can get. I think, you know, you can talk about how amazing a writer is, but actually the only way really to convey that is to read their work. Hello, it is Monday today, and I am so fatigued. I can't even pretend that I'm not, but I've got book group now, and this little situation here is called literally pulling it together when you're practically dead. And we've all been there, haven't we, where you just think, I can't do it. And then you think, no, I must do it, because not for any huge obligation's sake, but like, I'm one of those people, if I don't do it, and when I say do it, by do it, I mean, if I don't go ahead and host book group, I will literally hate myself so much and feel like I've let everyone down, and I don't want to do that, even though we all know that the truth of the matter is, if I did cancel, there'd probably be at least one other person who'd be thinking, oh, thank God. Oh, do you know what I mean? But you got to like force yourself on. Anyway, so I have made the Anna Jones, just the lemon and lentil soup. And I've got a choice of porridge bread or homemade soda bread, some nice butter, and so I can't even remember. And then, yeah, you know when I made those brownies? I put some in the freezer. Always a good thing to do, because how grateful am I today that I had brownies in the freezer? I was so grateful. So yeah, so I have taken them out of the freezer. I've put them on a pretty little thing. The soup is done. I just need to sort of half blend it. But I'm pointing you here because I wanted to show you the table. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you, which is basically all of you, will have noticed that it was carnage back here, total carnage, and it really was. This is my normal table, and then normally I have two of these, but one of these is upstairs in the room that Charlie is currently using. Charlie's going to be at the station in an hour, so I have to go and pick him up, and then by the time I come back, basically book group will be starting. But so that little table there that you can probably just see, this little gingham table here, that's actually a garden table, and it was just covered in crapola. Sewing machines. This had the computer on it, stationery things, madness everywhere. So I'm just going to make this table look pretty. Now I have already, oh, it's so sweet actually. So the roses are out in the garden, and even though I actually really dislike these intensely, the apricot ones, I just thought let's go full clashy, and that has a kind of like a kitsch charm. And see, these are all, goes kind of nicely with the vase. So I've just stuffed them in there, this little blackbird. I've literally just stuffed them in there, obviously wounding myself as I did it and getting incredibly annoyed. And then this is just a little teeny scrap of that lovely cabbages and roses fabric I have. And then look, I have two of these little funny little things. So again, see, this one is a beauty. This is, in fact, they're both David Austin roses, but this is the lovely one. And when I smell it, it makes me happy. Whereas this one, when I smell it, it makes me nauseous. So we've got, but look, the other thing, just while I'm on a roll about this rose, it's very poor design. So it's too heavy for itself. So, you know, that it's going to be raining in a minute, and as soon as it rains, it's basically over. It can't, I mean, it is, you know, look at that. It's one of those ones that needs to be, oh, look, it's kind of opening. Anyway, so because it's raining, I thought I'm just going to bring in quite a few of these, because why not? And then that's really quite pretty. And then I have, what else have I got to show you here? I'm going to set the table in a minute, but, so I've just got one of these here, which I just think adds like just a lovely bit of height. Also, I don't even think I've got any tea lights. So these things here, which I think are Scandinavian. I love them because they kind of look like blocks of ice, don't they? But I don't think I have any tea lights. So these are just going to be pretty little table things. So I'll light this candle here, and then I will also put my, I'm going to put my little darling rare bird on the other side, like that. Gorgeous. I need to melt that in. I also need to put my lipstick on. Oh, I wanted to show you this separately, but you know when I met up with Poppy, which you will be seeing before you see this video, she bought me a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. And I wasn't expecting anything, even though, of course, the reason that we were originally meeting up was for our birthdays, but I hadn't expected it. Anyway, I'm going to put some... I can hardly see. Literally, I can hardly see, so God knows. Yeah, it's Coral Kiss. It's just lovely, you know, punch of, not literal, hopefully, but a little kick of pink. Again, horrible, hopefully not literally. Right, I'm going to press pause, and then I'm just going to get the bowls and... yeah, and we will get there. We will get there. How are you all? I hope you're all really well. Yeah, it's really going to rain out. It's really going to rain in a minute. The sky has got so dark. So anyway, I'll be back. I'm back now. Did I say the book that we were reading? It's this one. Because I know you probably think, God, that was months ago you were talking about that. And actually it was. But we have had to cancel a few times, which is another compelling reason why I didn't want to cancel again. Because sometimes I think if you cancel things too often, it disbands. So you've got to fight to keep it together. And I thought maybe I had read this book before. 100% I had not read this book before. And I have to say, since I finished it, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. It is not what I expected. And I should have expected more, in fairness, because it did win the Booker Prize. And I can fully understand why now. You know, her observations of the human condition and human character actually are just thrilling and exhilarating. You think, oh yes. But for me, the ending, just thinking about it, it's given me goosebumps, because for a long way, and the book was very much leading towards a certain way, the ending, the denouement, was just, it's just a work of quiet, steady. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I would just urge you, if you haven't read it and you can get hold of a copy, it's definitely worth the read, because, but it's interesting how things have changed. I don't think this book would fly in quite the same way now, because I think, and I don't want to do any spoilers here, but somebody who is set up as ostensibly, possibly could be something good is sort of, well, for me, he was pretty repellent from the get-go. Yeah, it's interesting how times changed. But then, you know, the book isn't even that old, because it kind of has a feel for it. Anyway, I won't go on and on about it, but it was wonderful. Okay, so there's that. And then I just wanted to show you just the loveliness of this. Lovely little bowls, soup bowls for our soup. And don't you think they go so well with, in fact, look, I'm going to bring a piece of this fabric over, because I've got little offcuts all over the place. Isn't that, those two together, a thing of loveliness? In case you can't see, because the light isn't very good here, I'm not by a window, but this is like just a lovely dark kind of olivey green. And they're just wonderful together, aren't they? And then look, and then if you throw in a rose as well, you've got yourself a little sensation there. Anyway, right, I need to press on actually, but I will be back. I wanted to show you these glasses. Aren't they lovely? Quite grubby. I need to give them a quick polish. But Charlie and Laura, his girlfriend, Laura, or as I call her, Lolo, just because it makes me chuckle, they bought me these for I was thinking it was Mother's Day, but it wouldn't have been Mother's Day because they were from Laura too. I think it must have been my birthday. And aren't they lovely? They're perfect. And then you see I use, because these ones are little sort of stubby ones, and although I love the look of them, I just think they're very cool. Not so nice to drink wine out of, so I use them as little water tumblers, because I couldn't bear to get rid of them, but also I couldn't bear to drink wine out of them. So we're all sorted. We are all sorted. So that's like that. La la la. I was worried I didn't have, but I only had cremant. But actually, I've just looked, and I have some pickle, so I need to throw that in the freezer. No, actually, no, I don't. I can put this in the fridge, and I think pickle is a joy. That was actually something that that my ex, he always used to get that, just as very drinkable wine, and he did have very, very good taste when it came to ordering wine, which is always very appreciated, don't you think? Unless I basically don't have enough knowledge. I just know what I like to drink, but I never really know. I've never learned more, so that's not a failing, but anyway, whatever. So there is that. Okay, I also have nice local apple juice, because just in case, not everyone wants alcohol, do they? And then just some still water. I haven't got any fizzy water, but we don't worry about these things. So I'm actually going to put these on the table now, just to save time. And I'm actually going to see if I can find some tea lights, because wouldn't that be nice if I could find some tea lights? But I've got a feeling that I won't be able to. Look, I've got these things in all different sizes. They're so heavy as well, because look, if you can see, I've just got a little hole in them, so they're great big chunks of glass. That's a little bit dusty, that one. But so I think I've got sort of 4 or 5 of them. But they're gorgeous, aren't they? I always think they're they're just quite interesting. Also quite James Bondy. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember there was that wonderful, quite recent, it's probably bloody 15 years ago or something now, but it was set in a nice thing with a guy with a scar. Well, they all have scars, don't they, the baddies? Anyway, he had red hair though. I think he wore a lot of leather. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, so we are coming along. I'm going to bring the soup bowls out now. I can hear my fridge beeping, so I've obviously left it open. So I haven't actually got the soup bowls yet. But I've got little spoons, little knives, little teeny. They don't look very small, but they're very, very small, trust me. That's just for the butter. And then, God, they smell really good. These are the brownies. And look, you see, on a little plinth like that, they just look sort of more interesting than they are. And there are 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's a decent amount. Quite pleased with that. So I'm actually going to put these not right where we're going to eat right now, but over here on the other table, so they're just kind of ready to go. And I don't have to worry about Quincy stealing food. That's one thing I will give her that. She's not a food thief. She's a good girl when it comes to food. So let me just pop that there. So I need soup bowls and side plates. Okay, I've got something else I need to do. So this is just a little, very simple placemat, which I'm just going to put here, because when I bring the soup in, I don't want anything to happen to that fabric. Beauty's nice, but you've got to be practical as well in life, haven't you? So, and I just thought of something else I would like to do, which I think would be really lovely. I'm gonna. What time is it? Okay, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it. In fact, I can just walk over here and show you. Because when I was getting the napkins out, I was reminded. I saw them. I saw this. Okay, so there are a few things. I don't know if you can see me. Can you see me? I don't know. Okay, so there are a few things that you don't know about me. They're mostly just innocent things. But one of them is that I like bunting very much. This is very feminine, ridiculously feminine. But I just, so much of it to go across my garden back and forth when it was Poppy's 21st, because we had a big lunch in the garden. And I just made meters and meters and meters of it. And weirdly, this fabric here was from her eldest sister's bedroom when she was a little girl. So that's lovely. And then this pink, and then the rest is velvet, pink and turquoise. And you see there's pink, turquoise, and then there's also blue in that fabric, which I bought with a little blue stripe. So I'm going to see if I've got time to put it up just here, and we'll see what it looks like. I think it'll just be sweet, and it's, very feminine but cute. Cute for a all-female book group. Okay, so hold on. Right, this is going to be more or less a live stream, but I'm going to edit out the boring bits for you. So here it is, and I've actually got hooks that go across there because I always at Christmas, I always put certain things up. So I will show you. I need to go get the ladder. Okay. Now, I'm just trusting that the length I have here is long enough. I'm sure it will be, because most of them. Okay, so we'll try not to tangle it up, because I have not got time. I have not got time for tangles. Okay, so we're just going to go with this. We're going to put that on there like that. Pull it up. So can you see? Let me just make sure. Just make sure this is filming. Yes. Okay. So, there's spiders up here, but I don't mind these particular spiders because they're the ones with the teeny little body and, very long but very spindly legs. If it was the one, the big black ones you can get with basically more leg hair than me, I would not be going anywhere near that, I tell you. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tie up the other side, and then I've got a hook in the middle as well. So I think, oops. Okay. Okay. So now, where's the hook? Yeah, just there. Okay, so now we get the ladders over here. Like so. Now that's not going to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do that like that. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. And that's going to be just fine. And then I'll tuck that just so it falls down. Actually, that's quite cute, just falling down there like that. It's nice and casual. Okay, time check. Oops. Right. Okay, I will be back, and then we'll have a look. I'll show you properly. Okay, so here we are. So here's the table. So just so you can see, hopefully a little bit better. So we've got a little soup bowl, just sweet little ones, and a red kind of abstract print. Well, it's a block print, and then cabbages and roses, and then some actual roses, and beauty in its own way too. I just don't like the smell. And then, yeah, so just water, apple juice, and then this kind of Charleston inspired, really, really tall candlestick with just a pillar candle, which, yeah, it's actually scented, which is not good, I think, when you're eating. But to be honest with you, it's up above where our noses are, so I don't think it'll matter too much. So there's that. And now I'm going to show you the ridiculousness, but I think it's really sweet. Okay, so you come into the living room and you think, oh, hey, what's this? Is this a child's party? No, it's not. It's someone who's desperately regressing to childhood. Although actually, in fairness, not my own childhood, but to childish things. I don't know. I think it's very sweet. And then it just adds something, doesn't it? And it's summer as well. So it's nice to have just little pops of joy. And then it's the sofa of dreams, which I'm still loving. Little plant over here. It has, it's a bit of, anyway. But look, still happy, still perky, so I'm working with that. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then this is the other big candlestick. And then that's the other sofa. And I think that's quite cute. Obviously no fire or anything like that, but thank goodness we're not freezing to death for once. There we are. Anyway, I have got to go and pick up Charlie. Charlie brought back some snacks from
good effort. Do you want to take two?
Literally had a stroke.
So
Charlie
from the guy, yeah, that's okay. I'll take over. So apparently this is a real thing. So it's camel milk chocolate, but with like a pistachio filling, and apparently that's become like a USP there.
Interesting. Okay.
And then there's a hazelnut one, and then this is just more.
Well, I was about to say ooh, but I know I'll eat it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, okay.
And then there's one here, which again is camel milk, but with almonds. And then there's also camel milk chocolate coated dates with pistachios in the middle.
Now, you see, now we're talking.
Yeah.
So this has got book group written all over it.
Perfect. Yeah, you can break them out of the book.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't had one, but
well, never mind. We're going to eat them all, and you won't have one.
Perfect.
Oh, thanks, Charles.
That's all right.
Okay, so this is the soup. It's yummy. I've just partially blended it like that, you see? Evidence blender. And then, so it's all cooked, and then basically I'm just going to heat it up. I'll probably put a little bit more water in it, and then another squeeze of lemon. And then I just fry this in olive oil until it's crispy, and then sprinkle it on top. And then we eat it all. You see? And then over here, so we were just talking about the camel milk, which is very strange. But anyway, and then that's the, so we have two breads. We've got the porridge bread, yummy. And then we also have just some soda bread, also yummy. I won't even be able to keep this because there's music playing in the background. In fact, I'll have to stop. Are my eyes as pink as they look? I look like Dracula. Anyway, I'm just waiting for them to arrive, so that will be lovely.
What do you think, Quince? You're a happy girl. Oh.
Did you get her fluffy toe?
Oh my goodness. Zoomies. Oh my goodness. She's happy. Go on then. Continue your zoomies.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to work shortly, but I just wanted to come on quickly to, first of all, just to thank you regarding the video that I put up of Wendy's garden. You know, just to thank you for your wonderful comments to Wendy, for Wendy, and your lovely messages and all of that. And I just wanted you to know that when the video went live, Wendy was actually away. She was dog sitting somewhere, and I don't know if Wendy can actually see the comments because, you know, as I say, she just watches it on her mobile, and I will show her how to make it all work so that she can see the comments. So I don't know if she can actually access the comments, and so I was taking screen grabs to send her as they started to come in, and because I thought, oh, I just want her to know, because I had sent her the video beforehand just to say, are you okay with this? Is this all right? And then I tell you what she said when she came back to me. She said, gosh, I do talk a lot, don't I? I hope that no one will be bored. And I just thought, no one's going to be bored. And so therefore I wanted her to see the messages. So I was taking screen grabs and sending them off screen. And eventually I just literally, I couldn't keep up with all the lovely comments, and I don't know, it made me quite emotional. I just think it's really lovely, when someone receives the recognition that they deserve. Not that Wendy is necessarily not, obviously she's at different phases in life. You receive different things from life, don't you? And I don't know, it just made me incredibly happy that you all enjoyed it so much, and that, you got to see what is an incredible accomplishment. And the other thing to remember about women like Wendy, the Rare Birds, is that won't be the only thing that she's been doing for the last 7 years. Do you know what I mean? So this is impressive, and it's inspiring. That's the most important thing. It's inspiring, and I'm so pleased that you received it that way, and thank you. And then, so I had the book group earlier this week, and before I get to the book group, I just want to say, you will notice in this video that there is not any London trip with Poppy. That's because I'm going to have to do that on Wednesday, because I haven't filmed in a city before. I didn't realise how much of an issue the noise is, so I've got to kind of work out how I'm actually going to do this video for you, so that it's enjoyable for you, but I can still convey what I want from it. But I will say this, it does involve the most wonderful skirt, which I'm going to show you. It's still in its bag. I haven't taken it out because I want it all to be fresh to show you, because because one of the things in the video is that it involves this skirt, a cos skirt. But anyway, that's for Wednesday. So what I wanted to say, just follow up on the book group, and just the and I know that you have seen this book before, but I really enjoyed it just so much. And it's very difficult to date this book because the language and the way that people behave with one another seems very dated to me, but I don't think it is. I mean, I think it was first published in 86, and there's nothing to suggest, because you sort of read it and you think, what is this, set in the 40s or something? I'm still unsure, but it almost doesn't matter, because it's an incredibly clever novel, and I would just recommend it wholeheartedly. So that's the Hotel du Lac. But what is very interesting is that the write-up on the back, i.e., the sort of the little teeny synopsis, for me, really doesn't. I almost feel like, did you read the book? It doesn't describe it the way that I read it, and there's just so much to it. So that's a big recommendation from me. And then this one, I know that I mentioned, I think, to be honest with you, very briefly in the first video that I ever did, but it was just in a very cursory way because I was considering suggesting it for a book group. But weirdly, this has just been suggested by Debs, actually, for book group, and I'm so delighted. It's Deborah Levy, The Cost of Living, and this book, I think it was published in 2019. I remember I was living here, and Alice, so the hardback 2018, and then published in 2019. So Alice bought this for me as part of a little package she did for Christmas of the most incredibly chosen things for me. I mean, Alice is a big reader. She, she studied English at university, and she, I just really value her. But it was just so perfectly chosen for me, and this is essentially a memoir. A diary almost, that Deborah Levy wrote about a certain moment in her life when her 20-year marriage was coming to an end. She was relocating with her daughters to a new place. She was trying to still find a place for her writing, and just everything was shifting. And what I wanted to do, actually, and I hope that you'll be... The first thing... Sorry, let me finish my sentence. What I wanted to do was to read the first chapter. The chapters are not long, and as you can see, it really is just a few pages. And when I read this to you, yeah, it's literally just a few pages. When I read this to you, you will assume, as I did when I first read it, that I'm reading this is the beginning of a novel. This is not a beginning of a novel. This is something that Deborah Levy witnessed, which then became the moment of inspiration for this memoir. So I want to read it to you because I think, you can talk about how amazing a writer is, but actually the only way really to convey that is to read their work, and then you will see. And I just think that the observations in this piece of writing, just in this little section that I'm going to read you, are just so bang on. And I just know as women, you will relate to this. There is no question in my mind. It's basically something, it's a dialogue. It's a chance encounter, a dialogue between a much older man and a very young woman, and that Deborah Levy witnesses. And it is bang on. It's so accurate. And her observations and thoughts about it are so like, yes, you are so right about that. Absolutely. Anyway, so it is called, this little section here, just a few pages, is called The Big Silver. Yeah, okay. As Orson Welles told us, if we want a happy ending, it depends on where we stop the story. One January night, I was eating coconut rice and fish in a bar in Colombia's Caribbean coast. A tanned, tattooed American man sat at the table next to me. He was in his late 40s, big, muscled arms, his silver hair pinned into a bun. He was talking to a young English woman, perhaps 19 years old, who had been sitting on her own reading a book, but after some ambivalence had taken up his invitation to join him. At first, he did all the talking. After a while, she interrupted him. Her conversation was interesting, intense, and strange. She was telling him about scuba diving in Mexico, how she had been underwater for 20 minutes and then surfaced to find there was a storm. The sea had become a whirlpool and she had been anxious about making it back to the boat. Although her story was about surfacing from a dive to discover the weather had changed, it was also about some sort of undisclosed hurt. She gave him a few clues about that. There was someone on the boat who she thought should have come to save her. And then she glanced at him to check if he knew that she was talking about the storm in a disguised way. He was not that interested and managed to move his knees in a way that jolted the table so that her book fell to the floor. He said, "You talk a lot, don't you?" She thought about this, her fingers combing out the ends of her hair while she watched two teenage boys selling cigars and football shirts to tourists in the cobbled square. It was not that easy to convey to him, a man much older than she was, that the world was her world too. He had taken a risk when he invited her to join him at the table. After all, she came with a whole life and libido of her own. It had not occurred to him that she might not consider herself to be the minor character and him the major character. In this sense, she had unsettled a boundary, collapsed a social hierarchy, broken with the usual rituals. She asked him what it was that he was scooping up from his bowl. with tortilla chips. He told her it was ceviche, a raw fish marinated in lime juice, which was written in the menu in English as ceviche. It comes with a condom, he said. When she smiled, I knew she was making a bid to be someone braver than she felt, someone who could travel freely on her own, read a book and sip a beer alone, in a bar at night, someone who would risk impossibly complicated conversation with a stranger. She took up his offer to taste his ceviche, then dodged his offer to join him for a night swim in an isolated part of the local beach, which, he assured her, was away from the rocks. After a while, he said, I don't like scuba diving. If I had to go down deep, it would be for gold. Oh, she said, it's funny you say that. I was thinking my name for you would be the Big Silver. Why Big Silver? It was the name of that diving boat. He shook his head, baffled, and moved his gaze from her breasts to the neon sign for the exit on the door. She smiled again, but she didn't mean it. I think she knew she had to calm the turbulence she had brought with her from Mexico to Colombia. She decided to take back her words. No, Big Silver because of your hair and the stud above your eyebrow. I'm just a drifter, he said. I drift about. She paid her bill and asked him to pick up the book he had jolted to the floor, which meant he had to bend down and reach under the table, dragging it towards him with a foot. It took a while, and when he surfaced with the book in his hand, she was neither grateful nor discourteous. She just said, thanks. While the waitress collected plates, heaped with crab claws and fish bones, I was reminded of the Oscar Wilde quote, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." That was not quite true for her. She had to make a bid for a self that possessed freedoms the Big Silver took for granted. After all, he had no trouble being himself. You talk a lot, don't you? To speak our life as we feel it is a freedom we mostly choose not to take. But it seemed to me that the words she wanted to say were lively inside her, mysterious to herself, as much as anyone else. Later, when I was writing on my hotel balcony, I thought about how she had invited the drifting Big Silver to read between the lines of her undisclosed hurt. She could have stopped the story by describing the wonder of all she had seen in the deep, calm sea before the storm. That would have been a happy ending, but she did not stop there. She was asking him and herself a question. Do you think I was abandoned by that person on the boat? The Big Silver was the wrong reader for her story, but I thought on balance that she might be the right reader for mine. And then Deborah Levy, then in the next chapter, she begins it just by saying that in a way she felt like the young girl coming up after 20 years of marriage to a storm, and that she was still in that storm. But anyways, it's just incredible writing. So there's that Deborah Levy, The Cost of Living, and it's a really little book. And I haven't checked, but I'm pretty damn sure you'll be able to get hold of this book if you would like it. But it's just full of gems, just full of moments of brilliance, just brought together in a beautiful little book. So that was that. And then, I just wrote myself a little list. I will do a Q&A as well. But I will do that quite soon. So there's that. And then I just want to show you these roses, which is still alive after the book group. They almost look more beautiful, don't you think? Just when they're sort of just about to collapse. They're gorgeous, look. And actually these peachy ones are very beautiful. And oddly, the fragrance really calms down to something almost quite pleasant. Anyway, that was that. I hope that you enjoyed that. And the other thing I wanted to say is I will definitely do not a makeup thing as such, but just a general skincare thing as well, because I know that a couple of you have asked for that, and and I'll just show you. I won't go into it for hours, but I'll just show you the things that I use that help to sort of create a little bit of a glow. And anyway, that's it. Thank you so much, and I have got to go. Good morning, everyone. It's quite it's 7:30 on Saturday morning, and I'm going to work, and all dressed, I've had a bath, makeup, blah blah. Sorry, just about to continue editing the video, and I heard this weird noise, and coming from the fireplace, and weirdly enough, and now I'm really hating myself, I must have heard it last night because I was watching TV for a while, and I thought I heard something then, but I thought it was just Alice upstairs. Anyway, long story short, there is 100% a baby bird stuck in the chimney, and now that's literally thrown everything into disarray because, so what I've done, I'm going to show you what I've done. No, I won't show you because it's already made a horrendous mess. But you know that, so I have one of these, and then there is a sort of a hatch where when the chimney sweep comes to do it, they stick the thing up. So I've opened that hatch. So the hatch, so the floor of that area there is normally like that, and now I've tilted a bit of it up. Will that be enough for the baby bird to get out? I've also just accepted. See, I can't hear anything now, which really disturbs me because I think it was there last night. I've also accepted that if it does come out, I'm going to be at work. Alice and Quincy will also be at work. Not that Quincy would even be a problem because she doesn't have a predatory bone in her body. I'm actually quite embarrassed for her thinking about it because her approach to the baby bird, which will be covered in soot and it will be leaping about, so I can't wait to come home to the carnage tonight. But her attitude to it would be, "Oh, are you friend? Hello? Hello, are you my friend?" She's so pitiful. Whereas Bridget, because weirdly enough, we had a rat. Oh my God, it just went on. And Quincy was very, so it was sort of underneath the floorboards, and Quincy was very, "Oh, I can hear it. Oh," and it was very much a sort of gingerly, sort of, socially gauche. "Oh, hello, are you friend?" Whereas Bridget, first of all, with Bridget, I would have known exactly where the rat was at all times because she would be on it. And her attitude to the rat would be, "I know exactly where you are, and I'm here to kill you." And fair play. And she would have dispatched it like that if she'd had the opportunity. Because a terrier is just, they're magical creatures in terms of rodent control. Not being grisly, sorry, this is a bit of a grisly thing to say, but Bridget could kill an animal instantly without there even being any blood. I mean, it was almost like a magical thing. She was just extraordinary. And one time, this was living in London, we had a rat in the house and she got it. We basically sent her in and she came out with a little bite on her nose, little red bead of blood. Oh, I've never seen a dog so proud of herself. It was like, yes. I protected my family. I did my terrier duty. Anyway, back to the baby bird. So the baby bird, let's see, why is it quiet? Maybe it's worked its way out. If it hasn't, then it's going to literally cover my whole house in soot. So that will be a thing to come home to. But anyway, I've opened that so it can get out. It can. And that window there is open. So if it's got any smarts at all, it's going to... Okay, I'm going to move away. Okay, I'm going to move away. Okay, so, I mean, that was like it was, did you hear that? That was literally like it was in the room with us. So I'm going to close the living room door. And then I'm going to leave that window wide open today. And then hopefully can get out, because the other thing I wanted to say, weirdly, really, really weirdly, was when I was upstairs and I was washing my face and putting my makeup on, there was a bird, an adult bird, sitting outside the bathroom window on the ledge, going absolutely mental. And I know this is a little bit anthropomorphic, but I feel like the bird was saying, come on, you gotta do something, get my baby out of there. Do you know what? If a video doesn't go out on Sunday, it will be because the baby bird situation is ongoing. I literally can't burst. I hate stuff like this. Anyway, we're going to work on the basis that it's all going to be okay. I've got to go. Oh God, right, I've got to get on with editing. Anyway, I just wanted to keep you posted on the horror unfolding. Okay, so just to update you, I can hear it, it's still there. So the window's open, but the window's probably this high at the bottom, so I've put lots of cushions, because I thought it might be all weird about, you know how they sort of bounce around, it might not be able to get out. So I put lots of cushions so it could sort of bounce from one to the other. And I've put some water down. I know that that's because it's going to be covered in soot and that just adds to it, but I just thought in case it's thirsty, the water might pull it, encourage it to come down. And then I'm going to give it some, I'm going to put some bread down. I just heard it, it's definite, like it's just literally right there. Anyway, I'm making myself a bean stew. I've totally abandoned the editing, so this will probably go out, if it does. Anyway, I'm going to try my best, but it's not going to be very well edited. Anyway, I'm making a bean stew because I've just been eating literally rubbish for so long. I didn't have any tin tomatoes, but I have got real tomatoes, so I'm going to put those in. Anyway, so I'm going to tear this up. Oops. I'm going to tear this up and I'm going to put it on top of the wood burner to try and encourage it. I bet it's hungry. Anyway, we will see. Okay, so just walking to work. It's still Saturday morning, and the reason that I'm just, hang on, let me make sure. Is this filming? Yes. The reason that I'm just filming this is because, so when I get home after work, I'll have to get straight onto the editing, so I'm not going to be filming any baby bird activity or updates. And also I just thought, if the update isn't a positive update, I don't want to end on a low, like no one needs that right now. That's just, we don't need that right now. So I'm going to work on the basis that I'm going to go home and the baby bird will, and I will see, there'll be like sweet little footprints, sooty footprints like Father Christmas but different, leading to the mountain of cushions and then up out, and then maybe the mother bird will have left me like a sweet little, maybe she'll have flown in with a little flower that I will interpret as thank you for helping my baby. So that's the story that we're going with. Okay, we're just going to run with that because that is what we need right now. But just so you know, re the baby bird, I have done literally everything to enable it to get out, so it has options. I always think this is the important thing, it's got options. So, and it's got food and water if it chooses to have them. So yeah, so anyway, I hope that you all, gosh, I guess hopefully you'll be watching this tomorrow, so I hope that you all have a lovely Sunday. And yeah, look, I'm going to leave you with a nice little look at the river down there. Can you see? It's pretty lovely, isn't it? Anyway, I'm gonna go, and I will see you on Wednesday. And yeah, you have a lovely weekend.